recording. And can you introduce yourself, please?
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Charmetria Marshall. I am the library manager for Willowbrook Library, which is on Wilmington and 118th Street, and which is part of LA County Library. So, I've been the manager here for a little over a year, but I've been a librarian, and I've been a librarian for, I want to say 6 years, but I've been in the library field for 12. So.
Thank you. Love it. Okay, so we have, let's see, our career seniors here. Who is doing the interview for this period?
Is that you, Blair?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. Are you with, Evelyn as well?
Evelyn and Olu.
Excellent. Okay, so these are our career seniors that will be taking over and conducting the presentation and questioning.
Fantastic. Nice to meet you, Blair.
Okay, so our first question will be, why did you choose your career?
Why did I choose my career? So I chose my career because I've always been interested in information and in just knowing more. I like a logic puzzle. I like things where you're taking a lot of different information and it helps you create a bigger picture. And so the idea of being a librarian was appealing to me because it kind of fed that desire in myself that I've had since I was little. I also like helping people. I love books, obviously, and I love the idea of access to information, and just the fact that it should be free, open, accessible for every single person in a community. Information shouldn't be secret. It shouldn't be something that only a few people get to have. And I strongly believe that. And I appreciate being in a profession that kind of amplifies that message and supports it. So I know a lot of people, in terms of being a librarian, they're like, oh, you get to read all day. I'm like, that is such a minimal, if non-existent part of my day. There's just so many different other aspects that go into my day being a librarian. But yeah, that's pretty much why I chose the current career I have. Oh, I can't hear anyone. I'm sorry. I can't hear anybody.
So,
was that Olu speaking? I'm sorry, Olu, I didn't hear you.
Olu, if you can hear yourself, you're probably connected and you need to make sure that your audio is available to all of us.
It might seem that she might be having some technical difficulties.
I'll read it in her place.
Okay, so Evelyn's going to take over.
Evelyn.
Olu's question was your current career your dream career when you were in high school? And when did you start to see your current career as something that you should pursue?
This is a great question, because no, it wasn't. I did not want to be a librarian when I was a child. I wanted to be an animator for Disney Studios because I grew up in San Fernando Valley and the Disney Studios was right down the street. And I loved all the Disney films. I loved the animation, not really into going to the parks, more into like the animation and the style. And I love art. So I either wanted to work in an art gallery or become an animator. But then I was in college and I was taking courses and I was like, oh, I can draw for the rest of my life, but I maybe think I want to do something else that isn't like something that I love so much. Like my first memory was like drawing a picture. Like I remember looking at my hand and I'm drawing something, and that's like my first childhood memory. So for me, I was like, oh, I can draw for the rest of my life, but like, let me go do something else that I still like to do or I still love to do, but isn't maybe art, which is just so dear to me. I didn't want to make it into something had to get money for to survive, if that makes sense. So I realized I wanted to be a librarian because, a lot of you guys, I think, are like 16, 17, I'm assuming. I've been working since I was 13. I worked for the city of my hometown. So I was in the youth employment program. So I've been working since I was 13. So I would work at different city places like Parks and Rec or the Nature Center. And then I was working at the library and I was 16. And I was like, I like this, but it's of course temporary because there's a lot of restrictions being under the age of 18 when you work. And then I got hired again in 2008 as a library page. So a library page is the person who puts all the books back. Like when you take that book off the shelf of a library and you leave a gap, the page is the one who shifts that gap back closed and then puts new books back that have just come and gotten returned. So I was doing that. And then one day I was thinking about like what I needed to major in or what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm putting my books back and I'm like, I like this. I like being in this building. I like what libraries stand for. I want to do this. And so then I looked up, I got a book that lists all the colleges and universities. It comes out every year. And maybe like 2 or 3 different publishers do it. But it showed like, what do you need to be a librarian? And I looked at all the criteria and I was like, I can do that. I can definitely go to school for that. And I did. And then I became a librarian about 6 years ago for LA County, and it's been great ever since. So yeah, it was roundabout because you're young.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
A little bit. It's a little. The volume's good, but it's a little distorted.
Try turning off your camera, Olu.
Oh yeah, that helps sometimes too.
Okay, what about now?
Perfect. That is great. You sound great.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is, could you tell us what a general salary for someone in your position/career looks like?
So the average would be about 55,000 to 65,000 in California, different from state to state, just because a lot of times when you're a librarian, you are funded by the property taxes or the local government of that city, county, or state. So it just really depends. I do want to plug a really great resource for all of you guys. It's called the Occupational Handbook. It's from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's basically a big old online flip book where if you put in a profession, it'll tell you what education you need for it, what kind of skills you need to gain, the kind of personality traits that are compatible with it, its growth via percentage. And it's just a really great resource if you want to kind of get a really good overall researched picture of what the job is. So I did take a look because I was kind of going off my own salary, but it does say the median pay for a librarian is $59,500 per year. And entry-level education, bachelor's degree, on the job training, none. And then the job growth of it is going to be 5%, which is faster. What I referred to when I was thinking about this question, but it's gonna be about like $50,000 to $60,000, and that's usually like kind of maybe entry level. And again, it just depends on what kind of library system you're in. If you're in a large one versus a small one. Also, if you're doing a special library versus a public one. So, it depends, but I guess you can say that's the average.
Could you give us that resource again, and I'll put it in the chat?
Yeah, let me link. I'm gonna link both of them actually. I can put it in the chat. So the first bullet point is going to be that Bureau of Labor Statistics. Could I say it right? It's the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So it says outlook because it's saying how much will this job grow in terms of demand? How many jobs will be available if you do get this education and go into this field? So, a civil engineer, the median pay is $87,000 a year, and the growth is going to be 2%, which is slower than average, but you can still find like civil engineer position. But it's really, really good. It's a really great resource. And I used it when I was in college and trying to figure out stuff. So it's nice that it's online. But I did go ahead and put it in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that.
Of
Great,
course.
great resource. Always something that, you're thinking about when you're thinking about a career choice. So, yeah, I didn't even think that, that would
Yeah.
be a resource that you could
No, it's
use.
great because it breaks it down. It makes it really like bare
Question would
bones.
be,
Like, oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mhm. No, it's okay. I'm kind of glitching out.
It's okay.
Olu, could you take over the next question?
Yes, I can. Yep, the next question, our second presenter, so I just add her in. We have Edlin Sanchez, part of Human Resources. So Edlin can join in on answering the question after Charmetria. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's Charmetria.
Oh, sorry, Charmetria. Okay, so
Yeah, it's
I'll ask
okay.
the next question right now.
Mhm.
Okay, the next question is, what was your career like before COVID-19 and now has it changed?
It was definitely more personable. There are a lot more face-to-face interactions. It was a lot easier to help people because say for the libraries, we've really been trying to help people get that kind of equitable access to like internet, printing, being able to be on the computer, and it makes it a lot easier to help people when you can see their screen. And now the difference is a lot of our customer service is remote, and we've had to get really creative in how we help customers, just because we can't be near them right now. So it makes it kind of, describe what's on your screen and maybe we can help walk you through. We try to make things easier. We still are able to have certain services, like we still have wireless printing of 10 free pages a day for customers. They just need to use our website to upload documents or an app. So, I mean, there are still things we're doing. We're still doing virtual programming. We do live programming on Facebook with story time so that we're still able to connect to like the youth and the caregivers and things like that. We still kind of we've amplified a lot of our online services like Overdrive or Libby, which is our online ebook platform. We've kind of expanded the title so that there's more copies and people can check out more and things like that. So the career, like I said, it was a lot more like easily personable, a lot more face-to-face interactions. And also it was just the act of being able to welcome people into the building was a nice thing, a nice feature, which we haven't really been able to do, obviously, because our all LA County Library locations have been closed to the public, since last March. So, hopefully that changes. But in the meantime, again, we're just looking at different creative ways to keep interacting and connecting with customers. Like people can still check out stuff and come to outside of our library and pick up books, DVDs. We're loaning out laptop kits to people with hotspots for 3 weeks at a time. So, we're doing different things. It's just about adapting.
Our next question would be, what motivates you to work in your career choice every day? Because I know it gets kind of hard having a routine and following it and sticking to it. And some days, you don't get the motivation to get up and do the same thing all over again. So what's something that keeps you going?
Well, what keeps me going is being able to help the community, working for equity for communities, especially underserved ones or ones where people don't realize that, you've kind of already paid for all these services at the library and you should come use them. They're for you. The funny thing is, though, it's been a very trying, difficult year for all of us. And it would seem that the same thing happens every day. For me at the library, I'm actually the library manager. It's not the same every day. There's always something new. There's always something coming up. There's always a new opportunity to serve customers. There's always a way to kind of get customers what they need. Yesterday, I spent 20 minutes helping a person troubleshoot their hotspot that they checked out over the phone, and that didn't happen today. So there's always something different every day. There's a new occurrence, because the interesting thing when you work with customers, when you work with the public, everyone's in a different place during their days. So this day they need help, this day they're fine, this day everything's going great, this day they need you to get this book sent to them. Like there's always something different, and being able to do that is something that motivates me every day. Also, in terms of being a library manager, I have kind of a different layer of also being someone who's kind of getting resources for my staff that I supervise. Helping my staff serve customers better or more comfortably and getting them connected to resources is something that I also do. So I'm kind of doing like public helping, and then also helping other library staff kind of reach their potential and get the resources they need if they want to do training. If they, one thing, I don't know if this is other professions, but in librarianship, it's you get a lot of librarians, myself included, who will like see, you see someone who's like kind of doing really good in their library page, or they're an associate, and you just kind of ask like, have you ever thought about being a librarian? Because we're always looking for more. So it's just about, seeing that potential in people and saying like, hey, I can be here to support you. Like, did you want to go to a training? Did you want to go to one of our conferences? Like, I can put your name in, things like that. So that's what really motivates me to keep to do my job well, but then also help people who eventually maybe want to do my job and beyond. Also, what motivates me is knowing that libraries serve such a unique, supportive place in the community, and that comforts me. Something where I don't worry about like the money, of like, there's no sales aspect to it. It's, if anything, sometimes people are like, oh, it's free. I'm like, please, it's all free. You should never pay to go to a program. This laptop kit is free for you to check out. This book is free for you to check out. This DVD, like, I love it. I don't know. I enjoy it, where I don't have to present a barrier for someone.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we move on, we want to say hello to our second speaker. She arrived a little bit late. She's Miss Edlin Sanchez. And we're going to start off with perception with her so we can give you a break. And we're going to ask her, why did you choose your interest, career / major?
Hi, everyone. So sorry I'm late. I had a meeting with my boss, so very important. First off, thank you, Thick Pen, for inviting me. This is so special. Class of 2006 here, King Drew. So to answer your question, why did I choose my profession? I would say it fell on my lap, really. I went to school for business administration, HR focus. And when I graduated, it was a tough economy, as it is now. And one of my brothers actually referred me to his company for an HR internship. So I was very lucky. So my biggest advice to you would be to always ask around, ask family, friends. If you're not on LinkedIn, start now. I started later in my career, no matter what profession, what industry. I'll send over my LinkedIn info now so we can stay connected that way. But it fell on my lap after I started working at Verizon. I was able to get an HR recruiting internship, and I fell in love with recruiting ever since, still doing it now. So it just happened for me. I love recruiting. I love the impact I have on people. I love being able to, as Charmetria mentioned, doing something different every day. It's really nice to have a job like that. So you don't get bored. You're not, the same routine every day. But I love it. I love recruiting. And I tell people who want to get into recruiting, either you start and you love it, or you absolutely dislike it and you change career paths. But I hope that answered your question. If anyone has a follow-up question or anything else.
Yeah, thank you for that.
My pleasure.
That's definitely really cool to hear because a lot of something that we hear at King Drew, and I'm sure you've gone through this, but the thing that we hear a lot is like networking is really important. You have to know who you're talking to. You have to be able to branch out from certain people. So that's really cool that that's where your career choice came from.
Most
So
definitely.
our follow-up question. Our follow-up question is, was your current career your dream job when you were in high school? And when, if not, when did you start to see your current career as something that you should pursue?
That's a great question. So I tell so many people that I was very lucky to have attended King Drew, graduated, because it was always in the back of our heads, or it was always, what college are you going to, right? I would talk to family members and friends, and they didn't talk about college in high school. And we I'm pretty sure you still have a college counselor, right? Big Pen was a great mentor. I mean, I had tons of mentors, but it was really, what college are you going to? And that was a huge help because, as you know, right, higher education is key to get into different positions, right? Or it's more so it opens up so many more doors, it doesn't close them. And to answer your question, graduating high school, getting into college, I wanted to be a teacher. And I had a TA job, and after that, unfortunately, I decided it wasn't the right fit for me. So that's always something to look into, right? Internships, volunteer work in the field that you're looking to get into, because it's very different, right? Studying something in high school, college versus, right, the hands-on, what you'll be working on, right? 8 to 5, 9 to 6, right? Depending on the industry, but you spend so much time at work, you want to make sure you like it. And what is it? Then I decided business was the route. One of my brothers was a huge mentor for me in terms of, right, what you should you get into. I thought accounting at first, and then I disliked the courses. And then I said, let me go with HR. I want to work with people, right? I talked to a lot of people in terms of what route I should go. And within HR, recruiting fell on my lap, and I'm happy it did, and I'm still doing recruiting. So I think there's no straight arrow, right? At least for a lot of folks, and it's okay. At least in college, I felt, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do. But talking to people and just the amount of support and mentorship that I would get from so many people, that's why I'm here and doing what I'm doing. So that's more or less in a nutshell.
I really loved how you used your resources around you to get to where you are today. Okay, so we're opening our questions up to both speakers now. So our next question is your workplace people oriented? If so, how do you maintain good relationships with coworkers or colleagues?
Do you want to take that one, Charmetria, or would you like me to?
I can go. Is your workplace people? Yes, definitely, definitively. You both work with people and you both serve the public, and the public is the public. You can't predict it. It's not a controlled population. If you work in a hospital, you're going to be seeing patients. Like you're going to be seeing people who have like a targeted reason for being there. Whereas for the library, if someone just wants to come in because this is a safe space to be in, that's warm and has a computer, or they just want to sit and look through every single one of our magazines, or you want to look at our newspapers, or you just like to people watch out the window because the chair's comfy, any and everybody can come in. Before, COVID-19, of course, we had hundreds of people come into the library every day, and staff spoke to so many people each and every day. Currently, obviously we don't have as many people coming. We don't have any people coming in the building, and only people are our staff. But, we maintain relationships with local organizations by attending virtual community meetings. I always try to also just make my contact info really open and out there, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, she's so busy, she wouldn't want me to email her. It's like, yeah, no, I do. That's why I gave you my email. Here it is. here it is again. So, and also doing events like these, just to let people know that the library is open, because we still do get phone calls like, oh, I thought you guys were closed. It's like, nope, we're open. We're here to answer your questions, here to connect you with resources, here to get you phone numbers, here to do whatever it is that we can to help you do your best life. So yeah.
Would you like for me to answer that question as well, Olu?
Yes, you can answer it as well.
Okay, awesome. I would say for me, the component of working with people has changed drastically because, right, you would interview people in person, right? Now it's the virtual component, so different. Technical issues are still a problem sometimes. We utilize Zoom, and you can't control technology, right? So making sure you respond to candidates as soon as possible if they mention, hey, I can't log on to Zoom, or the interviewer is not on there. Making sure that the customer service component is there. It's so important now more than ever. In terms of just making sure we stay connected with colleagues, Zoom meetings, right? Zoom check-ins. We're having a game night tomorrow night. So things like that really do help because, I have not met my boss, my colleagues. I started this position in November, so I have not met them in person, which is very interesting. My husband always says that's very weird. I said, yeah, I've never met them, but I think they're real. So that has been really difficult in terms of not being able to have met any of my colleagues, but they're available via call, text, Zoom. We have a chat via Microsoft Teams. So I still feel connected. It is different, but we're trying really hard to make sure that communication is key because it is very different and that much more difficult now. So that is my piece.
I think we can all agree that communication is a big part of everything nowadays. But our next question would be, what encouraged you to give your presentation to our high school students?
Sure, I can go, Charmetria.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say, when I saw Thigpen post about the KD talks, my husband and I always talk about giving back and helping others because we were helped so much throughout our careers, throughout our lives. So this is just a small piece of, I reached out to Thigpen and I said, I would love to do that. I've always wanted to. And, but you always find excuses. I was late, I'm sorry, but my boss, it's very busy right now. So I said, I can't cut my boss off. But what is it before would be like, I don't have time, I have my daughter, but I really appreciate Thigpen and the rest of the staff putting this together. And it's so important. Especially because obviously I am an alumni, and again, I had the best experience at King Drew, and I want to give back. So I'll send my LinkedIn profile, and please connect. If you have not created a LinkedIn account, please do so. It has helped me so much in my career, professionally and personally. So that is why I'm here.
Great. Yeah. So what inspired me? Basically, first of all, I will say when I was in library school and we were supposed to kind of like focus or specialize, I picked online kind of like web design, but then I also focused on youth services, teen services very specifically, and I wanted to be a teen librarian. And I don't know if you guys know this, teen librarianship was only created in like 2000, early 2000s. Before that, it was like you're a kid or you're an adult. And those are the books we got for you, and that's how we're going to talk about reading and stuff. Like teens, we don't know. But librarianship obviously evolved and was like, I think we need teen librarians. I think we need people who are trying to connect with teens and bridge that gap of like where a lot of kids use the library a lot when they're younger, and then you guys really drop off as teens because you guys got lives, you'd rather hang out in front of the 7-Eleven and chat than be in the library. We get it. But, you know, it was, what can we do to make sure that we've created resources for teens so that they do feel comfortable in the library? And so I wanted to be a teen librarian because that's what I wanted to do. And I did do that for the first like 3 years of me being a librarian, and I loved it. I, you know, not to be all gushy and weird, but like I really love and enjoy connecting and talking to teens and helping you guys, just because this is such an interesting time of your lives. Like the possibilities are like wide out there, and maybe sometimes you don't know how many possibilities there are. And I love being able to just give out more information and like say like, well, you could do this. And, you know, you can be a librarian and you don't have the job title of librarian. You could work for Facebook as a librarian, because every space needs someone to organize their information. You can be a content specialist, a social media manager, things like that, like things that don't necessarily have the title of being a librarian can be that same information, you know, and that can be true for so many other professions. And I really always enjoy connecting with you guys, answering your questions, having conversations, because you guys are like wildly smart and like super intuitive, and you guys are so creative, and it's just always a joy. So I was really excited because I've been a manager for 3 years and I love it, but I've missed doing like programs or outreach or just like talking to you guys because you guys are cool. So I did see in the chat really quick, it said, what kind of skills do you think is needed to be a librarian? I would say be personable, be adaptable, have conviction and belief in your field and its importance. Like I said, like I really believe in librarianship, and that's why I'm a librarian. So yeah.
Thank you for that. That was really sweet. Our next questions will be for Ms. Lopez. Being a Katie alum, did Katie prepare you for the career or your major in college? And if so, how?
Oh, absolutely. It really did, because for one, the importance, the push to go to college. And it was amazing to have that support, because when talking to family members, friends, they didn't get that in high school. So that in itself, I'm so grateful for. Um, and how did it prepare me? I would say just that, right? Being able to go to college, being able to get the resources I needed from King Drew, whether it be, you know, mentors, so many mentors that helped me both with school, with personal issues, which we all know, right, are bound to happen and are part of our lives. But it was just such an amazing experience, having attended King Drew, graduated, going to college. And now with my career, right, I talk to people every day. And, you know, having been to college really helped me with that, being able to communicate with people. So you are very blessed to be at King Drew. I can't stress this enough. Take advantage. You know, connect with your teachers. You know, have a mentor, have more than one mentor, because you know it will get tough in college, but the preparation that you'll receive from King Drew will definitely make it easier when you go to college and start your career.
Yeah, thank you for that. I do know that, you know, King Drew, it's a really big culture of like, you know, being pushed, but also a lot of support. And so it's cool to see how that transfers over into your career now. Um, I also wanted to ask, can you share one memorable, good or bad moment from your career, or just life?
Sorry, Blair.
Blair kind of cut off, but her question was, can you share one memorable, good or bad moment from your career or after leaving King Drew?
Of course. There's so many. Um, but I would say memorable. I would say, to be completely honest, the most memorable would be starting this position I started as a contractor, temporary employee in November, right? COVID pandemic still going on. Just the fact that I was able to find this position and now I'm a full-time employee. Just last week, I was offered the position. So that is very memorable because there's so many people still that are looking for a job, um, you know, and my goal also on LinkedIn is to, reach out to people or have them reach out to me, even if it's editing their resume, even if it's just, hey, keep going, because I received that from LinkedIn, so much support because it is hard, it is difficult. So many people are still going through, either a layoff or what is it, finding a position. So memorable would be how thankful I am that I have a job and now a full-time employee at Verum. So I would say that would be it.
Thank you. Thank you. And our last question for both of our speakers is, or just like, do you guys have any advice for any of us, like, see people in our career, help us finish through high school, anything that you guys would like to say before we go?
So I think I'm hearing the question like any like words of advice or just like wisdom or something from either of us. Is that
Yeah,
was
so
that
That's your question.
okay?
but
Okay. I guess I'll just say, guys, I changed my major 3 times. So there you go. Like, I wanted to do art and I was majoring in studio art to work in an art gallery. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to make art my career. I'm going to go into international business because I'm, taking all these French classes and I'm going to become fluent and I'm going to go to France and international business. I'm going to do that. And then that didn't work either. And then that's when I was really figuring out like, oh, okay, I want to be a librarian and I want to get a bachelor's in something. What am I interested in? What do I like? And it's like, I like people. I like looking at people. I like looking at cultures. I like looking at things globally, macroeconomics, micro, and stuff like that. And I found that anthropology is literally that. It is the study of people and humanity and what makes us human and culture and kinship and all that stuff. So I majored in that for my bachelor's. And then I got my master's in library and information science in grad school. So I say all that to say, like, I changed my major 3 times, but I didn't feel bad on myself. That's not failure. I know it can seem, I guess my words of wisdom is, I know when you're really young, it can seem like if every choice has to be exactly correct and perfect for you, you can't deviate. And if you do, you're going to fail. But failure is not the worst thing you can do. Not trying is the worst thing you can do. Failure just means you found a way that you shouldn't have done something, and it's not a moral judgment on you that you didn't succeed at something if you tried your best with the information you had at the time. So I think if there's going to be a word of wisdom, it's just keep trying to figure out what it is you want to do and let yourself change your mind. Like, allow yourself to change your mind, because this is the beginning of a very, hopefully wonderfully long life for all of you. And there's just so many things you can do. And you shouldn't limit yourself by thinking a choice that you made at 16 or 17 should be the one that you have to stay the course on for the next 50 years. Like, be open to change, be adaptable, and, find that joy in life with whatever you do.
That was really nice, Charmetria. Thank you. I'm even taking notes. I would say my biggest advice would be to definitely seek out for help, for advice, right? Don't feel that you can do it all on your own or that other people just do it on their own, because, the saying, right? It takes a village. It really does. So please reach out to people. Don't be shy. If you are, ask someone, I want to reach out to someone on LinkedIn. How do I do it? Or, just there's so many resources out there. Take advantage. And, you know, when things get hard, there are people there, believe it or not, right? Sometimes you might feel alone, right? Especially in high school. Those are tough, tough years. Trust us, we were there. So please reach out, and, you know, just there's so many resources out there. I can't stress that enough. I don't feel like I took advantage of many of the resources that were offered to me. So take advantage and just be your best self. That's all we can do. There's a lot of pressure out there, believe it or not, even as, um, you know, when you start your career, there's so much pressure from family, from, you know, your job, but just be your best self and you'll be okay. Everything eventually will be okay. That would be my advice.
That's great. See, I took notes too. I'm going to take notes for that. That's
Thank
really
you.
great. Like reaching out, like definitely don't feel you're alone. People want to help you, if that makes sense. It can seem like not sometimes, but people do, you
Definitely.
know.
Thank you guys both so much for those wonderful words of advice. And if any of the career students have any questions for them, you guys are more than welcome to put them in the chat. I think they'll be happy to answer them.
Yes, please, any questions? I do. Sorry, really quick. This is the librarian in me. I can't stop it. I want to plug a really cool program I think is coming up that I might pop into. This month for the library, we do every month, every year for a month, we focus on like teen programs and teen resources. So March is our Teens Create Month. And so this month we're having different virtual programs, but what I wanted to highlight is the sneaker stock market. So it's going to talk about selling and buying sneakers, like in the stock. I don't know about you guys. I love sneakers. I love like all those specialty sneakers, you know, all of that. So I might pop in myself, but I did want to like go ahead and like plug that. So I'll just put the link in the chat. But I think it was Olu said, like, if you guys have questions for me right now, by all means, please ask. I'll be as honest as I can. And, you know, I'm here to help.
And thank you, Thigpen, again.
Thank
Clap
you,
for you.
Edlin, for
You're
being
awesome.
here,
Oh
and
my gosh, it's been
Charmetria.
so long.
Oh, there you are. I was like, oh,
Even if it's
like, it was nice to
virtually.
meet Miss Soto
Yes,
and
hello. I
Miss
just went
Cooper.
and got
Oh
my
my gosh.
COVID vaccine, so I'm back.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. So thank you both. I listened to the whole thing. I was able to have my earpiece in and listen, and I really appreciate your time and all the good advice, and really just you being here to share and build community with us. It was a great day. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Thigpen.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me and reaching out. This was a great opportunity, a great break to the monotony of the day.
Yes.
So it's perfect.
Yes.